Algebra is one of those topics that students don't find very easy. So we can use tools in our teaching that will help students to move things around. I'm going to go for one of my favorites here. This is MathBot. In here there are a large range of tools that we can do. Again, I've just dropped it in, I've clicked on it from the apps on the side, and I've got a lot of different tools that I can use now. Multiplication, facts, number bonds, there's a Pascal's triangle in here, there's a Venn diagram. Here under this topic then is manipulatives. So if I was going to teach, don't worry about the phrasing here, but I can drop in a question here. I want to expand and simplify this bit of algebra. So I'm going to demonstrate the first one, and then I'm going to get Michael to do the next one. Okay. So if I want to expand and simplify x plus 1 and times x plus 3. Mathematicians are lazy, we don't write the times sign in here. It's first bracket times the second bracket. Now, if your student's used to grid method, they'll be able to see this, but I've got a block for x and I've got a block for 1. Okay. And then on the other side, I've got a block for x and a block for 3. In fact, I've got 1 blocks, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to work out what's filling it in. If I've got x times x, then that gives me x squared. If I've got x times 1, I end up with just 1x here. If I have the same thing here, I've got 1 times by x, but I've got it 3 times, so I'm just going to use the down button to duplicate that. And then I've got 1 times 1, and I've got it 3 times. 1 times 1 is 1. There we go. So I can work out now what I've got left. I'm just going to get rid of these bits on the outside just so that we can see what we had when we multiplied it out. Okay, so what I'm left with is 1x squared. I've got 4 x's, so let me just rotate this one round, and I've got 3 separate ones. So the expanded form of this is then x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, I'm going to tidy that all away. Okay, and I'm going to go for a new example. So again, I can give Michael control at this point. So can we set it up? So we want across the top, we've got x plus 2. So we need to grab an x, and we're going to grab 2, and we're going to duplicate. Okay, and we're going to go down the side. So either you can click the X and then rotate it, or you can use the one in the other direction. They are there in 2 different directions so that we can do exactly this. X times x is going to give us an x squared. We can kind of see that. And that's why we call it squared, because it's the 2 sides of a square that multiply together to give us its size. If I've got x times 1, I've got 1x. Again, you can either drag another one across, or you can use, on this particular tool, the buttons at the top. I've got the same thing down here, and I can just do 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. So we don't need to worry about the bits on the edge. I'm just going to move them out the way for the moment. What have I got left then, Michael, here?
I got x squared, 5x
plus 6. Okay, and if I show the solution, we've got the answer. And we can see how that works. So it just gives students a way to manipulate something rather than just telling them how to do the 2 bits. Can you see, Michael, where these numbers then have come from? Can we see where this 5 has come from?
It's 2 times x and then 3 times x, and then we add it up.
We added them, so the 2 and the 3 gave us the 5. How about the numbers?
As 2 times.
So 2 times the 3 gives us a 6. So we can start then to build in from the manipulative into the understanding of how we multiply the various parts or add them in this one. They can clearly see that we're adding these 2 numbers because we're adding the 2 sets of x's together, but we're multiplying the 2 numbers. And once you've done that, you could then give them a question under here and demonstrate it. If I wanted to, I'm going, this is x times x times 3, so I get x squared plus 3x, 2x, and plus 6. I'm working it out. Once I know how the method works, I can just write it out underneath, but I've got the manipulative here. And again, it's all in the board. I don't have to switch between 2 different tabs to be able to do this. This board is here, and I can write around it as I need to. This one's also got a great, this tool particularly has got a really useful thing that if I had, for example, let's take up the difficulty a little bit. So if I was teaching this one, I've got negative numbers, an x minus 3 here. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. So these are representing the minus numbers. And on the down, I've got x and I've got 4. So 1, it's not quite lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, this is going to come in here as x squared. I haven't lined it up perfectly, it doesn't need to be, but you get the idea. So this one here, I've got minus 1 times x, which is going to give me a minus x in here. 1, 2, 3. Whereas this one here is going to give me positive x, because it's x times positive 1. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I've got 1 times minus 1, which gives me minus 1. So this is all going to end up being minuses in here. There we go. Now what's really nice about this one, okay, I've got the x squared, I've got these x's. Really useful about this tool is that if I put, so let's rotate it, a minus x and a positive x together, that's going to give me nothing. It's cancelled out, just like minus 1 add 1 would. But I can drop it on top and it disappears. I can also use the button up here that says 0 pair that will allow me to pair up my zeros. So I can combine those together. Let's rotate it around. There we go. And it just leaves me with the 1x left. So students again can see how these things cancel out to give us the numbers that we require. So MathBot is a brilliant tool for this. So they were great for our various manipulatives that we have. There's a whole host in here. So anything that you've used in the classroom, you've got 100 square, we've got place values, we've got directed counters that we can use if we're teaching things. You've got a whole bash of coins here if we needed them. So there's lots of tools in here we can do. There's also, specifically for GCSE, we've got formula sheets, we've got grade boundaries and skills tests. So if I wanted to, well, let's just warm up my students, for example. This is a batch of 1 mark wonders. It's just 1 mark, but I could use it to warm up my students to start with. So Michael, can you work out what the next term is in the sequence if it goes 27, 30, 33 or 36? Yep, we would hope so. And what's brilliant about this is underneath where Michael has written, I can tap it, and I'm going to do the next one. It can come out with the answers as we go. Or I could just click show answers, and it shows me all the answers. I can quite quickly generate more questions. So this can be really useful as a little warm-up. You've got students coming in at different times. Put it on an individual board. They may even get different questions that way, but just a little warm-up to get them going. We can also bring in other resources. So you may enjoy Mathagon, Polypad in here. I'm just going to start a new one for the moment. So if I wanted to do some work with polynomials or tetranomials, here's my polygons. I can move things around. I want my 3D solids. Now this can be really useful. If I drop in a cube, I can ask Michael to unfold it for me. So you can click in and unfold to see the net of my cube. I've also got a function machine that I can, if I wanted to demonstrate function machines. So if I put 6 in here, out comes a 7, because I can see in my function what the rules are. And I've got a table here that I can make, and I could then plot a scatter graph from that. So if I then put 8 into here, that's going to give me 9. So I can see the pattern of what's going on. I could go in and amend the formula machine if I wanted to. This one's just +1 at the moment. We can see as a table what's coming in and out, and we can see as a graph. It can be really useful for that one. If we just want to draw an axis, that can be done in Polypad and tables as well. So it's all really useful content for really making things visual.